important principles to understand energy exchange, energy metabolism, substance metabolism, the principal things. Next topic will be the most important for dental student about digestion. Digestion from principle and mostly about oral cavity. Pay attention to prepare to the next topic. Information about oral cavity. Oral cavity, mastication, reflexes, often present in the lecture. I will explain on Wednesday, this Wednesday, offline. Lecture will be in Islamabad, 8, hushed, not like here, no, Islamabad. And I will explain body, and of course I will send you a video. Can you use YouTube or RoTube?
YouTube.
RoTube.
YouTube.
YouTube. What is better for
YouTube.
YouTube. Okay, I will send you YouTube. Because now I download my lecture on YouTube also. But for me, it's not important what link I send. So, pay attention to oral cavity, saliva production, regulation, and mastication. Salivation and mastication. Pay attention to it. Salivation, mastication. Primary question for dental student. Of course, you must know something about digestion. Digestion commonly. But about today, we must have at least 2 control tests about metabolism and about digestion. We can write control test at the beginning of the next class, about 30 minutes today, and in 2 weeks to write control test about digestion, or to write control test today about metabolism and about digestion next class.
First option.
First
No, I agree that you need time to prepare after explanation, but to next topic, you must prepare 2 topics, metabolism and digestion. Maybe it's more complicated. No, it's your selection. Not just how complicated. Well, about metabolism, shortly. What must you know? Definition. What is the metabolism? Where metabolism happens? In gastrointestinal tract, or in the blood, or inside cells. Where, John?
Inside the cells.
Inside cells. Metabolism includes processes by chemical reactions inside cells. Inside cells. Remember? Chemical reactions. They are biochemical reactions inside cells. Metabolism is a result, is a process of biochemical reactions. To release energy, it gives energy and substances to build new structures, new proteins, glycoproteins, components of cells, and wastes, final products, waste, and heat. I will draw pictures, schemes, photo with me, you know, this is school. We have cells, example of cells. Cell takes nutrients and others, use substances from blood. Blood, interstitial fluids, what substances? Nutrients. Give me examples of nutrients.
Oxygen.
Not gas.
Fat,
Fat, lipids,
carbohydrates,
carbohydrates,
protein,
protein, not proteins, amino acids. Amino acids, fatty acids, sometimes lipids, cholesterol, some other fatty acid, free fatty acid, another lipids. Glucose and other sugars, mostly glucose, main nutrients. C. Gases, oxygen, to oxidize. Vitamins, vitamins. What is necessary more? Minerals, ions, minerals. And water, of course. Water. Minerals, salts, and water. Metabolism inside. Metabolism happens inside. And cell releases, finally, cell releases carbon dioxide, water again, energy, and wastes. Wastes is heat. Heat and production wastes nitrogen waste. Nitrogen waste. Because protein contains wastes, protein contain nitrogen. Did you study biochemical reaction of oxidation of proteins, lipids?
Nitrogen waste.
Wastes, nitrogen waste. Who can write the biochemical equation, reaction of glucose oxidation? It's simple. Here. How many oxygen? How many water? Very well. Thank you. This is the simplest reaction. You can see that cell uses oxygen, and finally releases carbon dioxide, etc. Product oxidation of lipids is the same. Right? I will not write document actually it was complicated, but idea. Lipids plus number of oxygen, and again release carbon dioxide and water. Proteins oxidation. Again, carbon dioxide, water, and nitrogen waste. Nitrogen waste. What is a nitrogen waste? Nitrogen waste. Yes, it's possible, but urea. It's possible. Energy. What kind of energy can be produced by cells? Kinetic energy, movement, electrical energy, and again heat. It may be ATP. ATP may be used for movement and other processes. Movements, work organ, action potential, etc. And ATP is the primary heat release during synthesis of ATP, and after ATP use them. Again, cell releases secondary heat. About 60% it hits the cell can use just 40% of energy of nutrients to produce effective biological result. But heat is required to maintain constant what? Temperature. Constant temperature. With body temperature. Excess of temperature is bad for the body. So the body regulates temperature with heat exchange. Excess of heat, thermogenesis or thermogenesis. Genesis. Excess is released into external environment with heat exchange. Regulation of constant maintenance of the constant temperature is provided with two total processes. Heat production due to thermogenesis or heat production, and opposite heat exchange. What processes of heat exchange do you know? What processes? How your body can release heat into external environment?
By sweating.
Sweating,
Yeah.
Sweating.
And respiration.
How?
Respiration.
Radiation, sweating, radiation.
Bracing.
Convection, interaction with wind, for example. Wind, convection, and conduction. Conduction when you, for example, swim in the cold water. Cold water is the sea, cold sea. You have conduction. Or when I put my hand on this table, table is cooler, and I release heat, conduct my part of my heat to table. So this is my sweat in radiation. Pass. Radiation. What kind of heat exchange prevails in your body now? What kind prevails now?
Radiation.
Radiation that common. When you have, for example, physical exercise, maybe sweating rises. But anyway, radiation is the main. Except, for example, swimming. Radiation prevails. Well, this is metabolism. Understand? Very well. Metabolism includes metabolism of substances and energy. They work metabolism work together with interaction. Body or cell takes energy from nutrients from polymers because every polymer contains chemical energy in the chemical bonds inside molecule. Body digestive tract breaks down big molecules, polymer, to small and smallest molecules, monomers. Monomers, for what? Because monomers can be transported by blood, small molecules. Amino acid, free fatty acid, glucose, fructose, and monomers enters into cells, and then cells breaks down monomers to release energy. ATP or heat and produces wastes. It's a final process. With using oxygen. Oxygen is vital required substance. Metabolism can be divided for understanding to two processes: anabolism and
Catabolism.
catabolism. Anabolism is synthesis. Synthesis of what?
Energy.
Depot, storage energy, not energy. Synthesis of ATP is catabolism.
Oh.
Anabolism is synthesis of big molecules, macromolecules. With proteins, enzymes, channels, proteins. No, polysaccharides, glycogen. To renew, what are the goals of anabolism? Renew the cells structures. Some cells die, body produces new cells, it's necessary because cells become aged, old, it's necessary to renew. And second goal, second function is storage. What is the storage of glucose? Glycogen, mostly glycogen. But glucose may be, can be synthesized from other substances, from amino acids due to glycogenesis. What is the storage of proteins? No. Storage of proteins. Or amino acids, storage where?
In muscle.
Muscle, skeletal muscle. Because when body has a deficiency lack amino acid, but body needs proteins so much because proteins have many functions, vital functions. Then body extracts amino acid from muscles to build new proteins, to form glucose if it's necessary with muscles, skeletal muscles. And what is the storage of triglycerides lipids? Adipose tissue. White adipose tissue. Brown adipose tissue is used mostly for thermoregulation, but function of brown adipose tissue in thermal regulation in adult person like you is not so great. Mostly in newborn, in small child. Because thermoregulating processes in newborn are not matured. Newborn can't affect it too. Well, значит, catabolism. What is catabolism? It's a sum of processes directed to break down big substances to small and smaller substances to release energy. Release energy and again to renew tissues. Catabolism breaks down big substances, big molecules. It gives energy, small molecules to build new substances, big substances for anabolism. Those processes interact. Processes are the balance between anabolism and catabolism depends on long-term factors as well as gender, for example, gender, age, regular training, disease maybe, pregnancy, and short-term factors. Your balance is changing during day. What time of day when anabolism prevails? When?
In the morning.
Early morning, after sleep, during sleep, and in the evening maybe depends on your activity. And after eating, but not immediately after eating. What time after eating, what period after eating, when anabolism becomes prevailing? For approximately 4 hours. It depends on your digestion, your total metabolism, activity, of course, but approximate time. Because this time food is digested, not all, but most of food is digested enough to start absorption. It increases nutrients, small molecules, monomers in blood, and body conserves excess this in tissues. Storage, lipid storage, adipose tissue, muscle, strengthening muscle, lipids, muscle, lipids, proteins, glycogen. Uh, so processes of digestion and metabolism work together. I will draw after a big scheme and explain it. Very important to understand. It can help you to be healthy, beautiful all your life, and conserve eat so much, but not big volume. It's not appropriate, not adequate to have good balance between anabolism and catabolism. Okay, after food, after eating, after meal, 4 hours, you have prevalence of anabolism. So you can say, I will be fat after 4 hours. So I will be fat, I will not eat so much. But what happens then? When you have activity, your body extracts this energy for storage. Put in storage and extract. You have enough energy for your activity. If you don't eat enough nutrients, enough calories, what body can do? It's necessary to have storage. And body will prefer to put more nutrients into storage. It will be more fat. And so eat enough, but it's better to eat with short periods. Not once per day and not twice per day. It's better to eat 3 times per day. Of course, your life don't have break every day appropriate to eat, but you can eat something, not big fat food, KFC, not escape because of bad fat, they digest badly, cereals. We have some list of products, tasty and good for your health and activity. Well, when you have prevalence of catabolism, it's one of a crucial situation. It depends again your metabolism. For example, your last meal will be dinner. For example, 7 p.m. And you wake up again 7 a.m. because you have prevalence of catabolism. But it's not crucial because during sleep, your metabolism becomes slower, and it doesn't require so much energy. But after you eat breakfast, and you have energy. It's dangerous to have long fasting during day activity. It provokes catabolism. You can say I have been fasting during 12 hours during daytime. I have a lot of activity. My body will use fat. And I will be slim. It doesn't work. Yes, okay, you can be slim, but not due to your fat breakdown, mostly your muscle breakdown. Because visually you are slim, but your fat level, fat layer, bigger than in slim and fit person. Yes, it's bad. Well, study more about yourself, about prevalence, anabolism, catabolism, right? Different situations, different cases, pregnancy, etc. I can I'm going to pay your attention to case with physical exercise. Mild or moderate physical exercise triggers production of muscle mass, body mass, and prevalence of anabolism. But excess of physical exercise provokes an opposite situation. Why? Why excess of physical exercises provokes what hormones?
Cortisol.
Yes, stress. It's excess of stress. And hormones of stress, at first epinephrine, in short-term stress, and cortisol, release glucose, epinephrine from blood pressure, short-term response. But cortisol takes glucose from muscles and destroy muscle mass. It's not, it destroys the disorders adaptation to physical exercise. And body has, as professional athlete, has problem with immunity, with disorders and other disorders, result of this bad adaptation. This every excess is bad. Stress is good, but excess is bad. Who has vibes to clean? I don't know. This is
ما هذا بالبشر لسه
حط لها شوية مية حط لها شوية مية وهم عايزين يصوروا بس عمر عايزك
It's better to
تدوش
do right.
ولا يهمك امسحها امسحها بص خليها كلها وايت
Now, I'm going to draw a big scheme explaining the interaction between metabolism, digestion, and storage release. We will study it again next class and in next topic, but don't we'll start next time. Yeah? We will think about it now. The key scheme to understand the interaction between digestion and metabolism. Cell takes energy from blood, nutrients in the blood. Homeostatic functional system, if you remember from previous semester. Nutrients, blood. And blood. Glucose, amino acid, from each nutrients we can draw the same scheme. Nutrients in blood depends on metabolism in cell. And here metabolism in body cells. Each variable It's a homeostatic variable of blood. Each variable is controlled and measured by receptors. Receptors, cells, nerve ending in peripheral nervous system, chemoreceptors. Chemoreceptors mostly in blood vessels, ending of blood vessels, chemoreceptors, mostly blood vessels, wall, blood vessel will contain nerve ending, functioning, working as chemoreceptors sensitive to glucose, for example.
Red blood cell or
Blood vessels, tubes, blood vessels, blood vessels. No, blood vessel, glucose, nerve ending. Glucose excites concentration. Glucose excites nerve ending. More glucose, more action potential. Less glucose, less action. Chemoreceptors carries information to nerve center. Nerve center. What is the main nerve center regulating homeostatic variables? Hypothalamus. 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 Of course, hypothalamus works together with higher levels of the central nervous system of the brain. Cortex. There's some structure between them. Now, hypothalamus is main. Hypothalamus contains also neuron working like chemoreceptors responding to glucose concentration, glucose amount in the cerebral spinal fluid. There's two pathways, common scheme, neural pathway and humoral pathway. And nerve center responding every moment to estimates concentration of glucose, compares with set point how many glucose molecules must be now, depending on activity, and change some processes to maintain glucose concentration adequate activity. Adequate the activity now. For example, you have 5 hours between meals. 4 or 5 hours concentration glucose, you are active, concentration glucose falls. How hypothalamus responds to it when your glucose concentration falls down, decreases.
receptor in blood vessel
And
nutrition in blood.
yes, and how to recover?
Insulin is
Insulin hormonal cable, endocrine hormones, but not insulin, glucagon. What more? It's impossible to do
In our liver, glucogen will be breakdown.
storage, storage energy. Okay. The storage, nutrient storage. What more?
With fatty acids and food, the body can use our lipids and
Storage, okay, everything storage. Glycogen, lipids, fat,
and
storage. What more? Do you want to eat? You have hunger. Hunger stimulates your behavior activity to search food, feeding. Feeding behavior. Feeding behavior. Feeding behavior. Eating when starting to digest. At first, oral cavity. Next,
GIT.
next,
GIT.
GIT.
Gastroresistant.
next part of it, after oral cavity.
Esophagus.
Esophagus. No, esophagus just passes food. No, that doesn't digest. Next, stomach. Stomach. Next.
intestine.
What part of the intestine?
شو كان اسمه؟
gastric.
A few small intestines. What
Yes.
part of small intestine? What is the first part? Duodenum. Duodenum is duodenum is very important separate part because it's very special process. Small intestine. Duodenum. Duodenum. In English pronunciation, duodenum. Don't disorder my pronunciation.
No, I said the right answer. I said jejunum. The answer is duodenum.
No, actually, there are a lot of variants of pronunciation, but I try to use the British.
I said the right answer. I said the wrong part. I said jejunum, the second part. But
No.
I said
Duodenum is the first part. Duodenum is first part with special processes preparing to digestion in the next part. Then next part, small intestine.
jejunum.
Jejunum, that's jejunum. Ileum, jejunum. Here not important, both work together. Then large intestine,
But no.
and defecation. Final process. Interesting question. When nutrients are absorbed after milk, when nutrients start small intestine. Small intestine.
The first one is oral cavity.
It's not very much.
No, anyway, small. When we say about substance, we must understand about concentration. Smallest concentration doesn't influence physiological processes. We can close eyes. Here I say about significant absorption, essential absorption, visible absorption. Small intestine. Absorption. B or P? Absorption. P? P. I say that. Absorption. Nutrients. When it happens, after how many hours? How many hours after meal? When absorption is here?
6 hours.
Almost 1 hour.
About 4 hours. With oral cavity, how much time? Food is inside oral cavity when you chew. How many?
Minutes, seconds.
Minutes. Not for students.
No, 10 seconds.
30 seconds approximately.
30.
Depends on food. 30 seconds.
We always eat
It's less
fast
than
food.
1 minute. How much time inside stomach?
In the small intestine, 4 hours.
Answer small intestine, 4 hours, approximately 4 hours. How much time in stomach? 2-4 hours, approximately. 2-4 hours depends on food. And type of food. Proteins and lipids are digested in stomach more than that. Duodenum can break down to monomers, not a lot, but it may start. So at the first absorption, visible absorption starts in duodenum in 2 hours, but more reabsorption increase after 4 hours. So a small intestine here for 12 hours. It's continuous process. So after eating, the body must wait up digestion and absorption for hours. But body needs glucose. So after eating, immediately concentration glucose in blood rises. Why? Because the autonomic and hormonal signal to storage. Because you become slim after meal. If you eat much, you become slim. You can say very well, I will eat fat and sweet food, and my body will use the storage. Yes, it works, but it works during 30 minutes. 30 minutes after meal. But then insulin put this nutrients again come back back to storage. It doesn't work. It works if your diet is appropriate. It contains lipids and sugars, carbohydrates, and proteins with good ratio. So storage is used immediately after meal to release energy until absorption. Because your brain understands digestive tract contains food to digest. We have food, so I can release energy. If you have long fasting, opposite process happens, and body put nutrients in storage. Approximately when you have long break between meals, for example, 8 hours. 8 hours, 8 hours, it depends on the person. Body starts to put lipids, glucose in storage. For what? To increase your hunger, to force your behavior for searching food. If you are stupid and don't search food, your brain forces you. Let's search food because I have a deficiency, it's dangerous. Concentration glucose falls. After 12 hours is crucial, and then body again release from storage, but with another processes. I have empty space, special. It means rearrangement of activity, change of cells activity. If you have long fasting period, your brain decreases your activity.
The growth
prefer-
of the nail is, it will be decrease the growth of the nail, it will increase the growth of the hair and
Yes. And you are right. At first, decrease activity, mostly for organ not required to live, sexual system, and high intelligence system, prefrontal cortex. To be stupid, don't have children, and just to live, to be alive. And third process is decrease activity. And rearrangement of nutrients. More important cells have nutrients here, not very important cells have lack. Rearrangement of nutrients. Rearrangement. What I recommend to eat food 4 times per day, but with less volume. It's ideal. It's ideal as possible. During feeding and immediately after eating, neural signals are propagated from oral cavity, stomach, duodenum, neurohumoral signal, small intestine. They conduct information about food volume and food quality. If you eat more lipids, your storage releases more fatty acids. If you eat more proteins, your body releases more amino acids from storage and increase metabolism of proteins. You can say that to be slim and fit and strong, you will eat more proteins. But in this case, you have more nitrogen based, more work for the liver. It's dangerous. Yes. Daily diet must be adequate to need in lipids as well as proteins as well as carbohydrates. Everything must be. Every separated diet is bad in accordance with physiological principles. It's artificial, it's temporary, it's bad. Well, it's a key scheme from the next class. Large intestine doesn't send signal to your cell directly.
I would classify from our lung, we have receptors that contact with our and
Do you
the amount of
mean
nutrients in the blood affect
blood? Yes, because
and
blood concentration in the blood influence on cerebrospinal fluid.
and what is the contact between oral cavity and stomach and duodenum is other than
This contact, these red lines, red arrows, means feedback about food from digestive tract. Information about mostly neurons, but humoral also. We will study in 2 weeks a small intestine. Duodenum, small intestine contains endocrine cells. They release hormones in response to food directly, and composition of these hormones influence on brain. In your condition of satiety after meal, 1 hour, 2 hour, it's maintained by this hormone. So it's 2 stages: neurons, short term, rapid, and long term, liver.
You said the first step storage, second one is activity, and the third one
Rearrangement of nutrients. Rearrangement of nutrients. Well, next important part to have ratio, good nutrition, to have good nutrition, is understanding about energy content. Energy content, how many calories you must take from nutrients, how many calories, this principle. Next part about energy metabolism. Energy metabolism. Total energy required for your body per day is called total daily expenditure, energy expenditure. Total daily energy expenditure. Your energy that your body requires every day, uses every day. And total daily energy expenditure. You perform homework. We will work with it, then you will give me. I will check the next class. Total daily energy expenditure. It consists of three components. What is the biggest component? What is the biggest main component of total daily energy expenditure? BMR, basal metabolic rate. Basal metabolic rate is the energy expenditure for a living function at rest. Total rest as possible. At rest. What is your position during calculation of basal metabolic rate? What is position? Standing, sitting, lying.
Rest for 1 hour.
Sitting or lying? Lying. Not lying. Ваш карьер. Absolutely. Значит, lying. When? In the morning or in the evening?
In the morning.
In the morning, immediately after sleep. After eating or before it? Before eating. To escape, to exclude digestive processes because they require energy. What is the temperature in the room? 80-20 degrees Celsius. Why is this temperature?
No.
We have temperature, radiation,
Why 20 is comfortable temperature. Why 20? Because 20 maybe 80 is feels cool for you.
It's not cold, that's warm, it's neutral.
But if you go to street and 80 degrees, maybe you sense cooling.
because it's
When we are in rest,
environment.
Because we don't have
And then we don't have wind. You see the rule. We don't have wind. Humidity is moderate. There is decreased activity of the thermoreceptors. This is comfortable, but it's comfortable in special room without wind, without air conditioner, convection, decreased convection, just radiation. For person in t-shirt and shirt, a little clothes, BMR, about 70% of total daily expenditure. Next part, exercise, activity. Physical exercise, mental activity, thermoregulation, everything except digestion. Digestion and other processes, thermic effect food. Digestion. The digestion requires juices release, gastric juice, duodenal, pancreatic juice, intestine juice, motor activity, masticatory muscles, smooth muscle, everything. Activity may be about 20%, and last component may be between 5 to 15%. Depends on food. 30, maybe 30. In case of digestion proteins,
Because you have
Proteins
10%, 10% of proteins, it's you waste, yes?
No, not for doing, due to big molecules of proteins. It requires more digestive processes. We will study next time.
Nutrition is given food fibers.
The digestion of proteins requires more. But here persons, percents of total daily expenditure. Immediately after eating, during 1 hour, eating of proteins can increase metabolism to 30%. 30%. But it's temporary. Here for daily total, total for day. For a short period, proteins can increase metabolism to 30%. But for total day, approximately this. What type of activity increases metabolism more? Physical, mental,
Physical.
physical. Let's recall processes of muscle contraction require ATP. What processes in muscle contraction? Skeletal muscle contraction requires ATP. Muscle, sarcomeres, no, ATP hydrolysis. What requires ATP hydrolysis?
Acting, using,
Myosin.
We will like this.
Yeah.
and
Bending, bending of myosin head requires ATP hydrolysis and then dissociation between actin and myosin to repeat this cycle.
And short long.
Yes. Значит, то есть sliding of muscle filaments, but not also calcium pump, calcium pump, calcium pump, and sodium potassium pump to recover resting membrane potential. There's a lot of energy. What processes require energy during mental activity? When you're
Glucose.
in what processes ATP hydrolysis? What processes in nervous tissue requires ATP? Like what is gives it? What neuron? For what neuron uses energy?
For transduction of
Do you mean conduction?
yeah.
No, it doesn't really require
In the
energy.
synapse, we have
A synapse, synthesis of neurotransmitter, the synaptic transmission directly doesn't require ATP, but
formation of neurotransmitter in this one.
excellent, mostly for synthesis of neurotransmitter and pump into vesicles. Fills vesicles. A synaptic transmission with prepared vesicles doesn't require ATP, but filling of vesicles, maybe synthesis of neurotransmitters, reuptake requires energy, and sodium potassium pump. Don't forget it. Sodium potassium pump.
First.
Yes. Mostly, all for sodium potassium pump. So muscle requires more ATP and produces more heat exchange. But during your mental activity, you can move to write, to talk, to use muscle again. And sometimes you have emotional response. A lot of emotions produces epinephrine, that is. Epinephrine increases metabolism, and during mental activity, you can have more stress and release heat, energy, and heat. It requires thermoregulation processes. So mental activity requires energy, not just nervous work of neurons. It requires energy for other processes. Well, one second.
اشربي يا عمر اشربي.
Next, how to estimate, measure energy expenditure. We have two principal methods. It's called calorimetry. Calorimetry, calories, unit of heat. Calories can be transformed into joules. It's unit of energy. It's not important what you're using. No? No, mostly nutrition uses calorimetry. Calories. We can use two methods: direct calorimetry and indirect calorimetry. The simplest method to estimate calories of consumed food for day. How many proteins did you eat, carbohydrates, and calculate their calories. Each food, each nutrient has a caloric coefficient. Caloric coefficient. You can see it in each. Here, I think, no, here maybe it is water. Do you have this? Drink, not water. But, here, usually, on each product, you have information about
yes.
calories. About
Yeah.
calories, because here water doesn't have. Calories. What is it? How to measure calories? It means that scientists put pure food, for example, protein, in special box here, nutrients, pure nutrients. Here, in this box, oxygen. Around this box, water. Plug to engine, to fire, plug to fire, metallic plug to fire, like burner. Fire plug. And thermometer. Thermometer to measure temperature. Temperature of water. Then turn on, burning, with fire attached. Water has heat and temperature rises. You calculate increase of temperature, then calculate with heat capacities water, and you have calories. Easy. For you, enough to remember caloric coefficient for nutrients. Carbohydrates, carbs. 4.1 kilocalories. Carbs. Proteins, the same. And fat, 9.3. But proteins coefficient here a little differs from proteins coefficient in the body. In the body. Proteins in the body, this 4.1 body. In bone, in this box, proteins caloric coefficient a little more because here in the bone, proteins burns with production carbon dioxide, water, and nitrogen nitric oxides. But in the body, proteins give again carbon dioxide, water, and urea. Different product in the body. The four caloric coefficient for proteins in the body, and here a little different. For carbs and fat, the same. So you must remember just it for the body. But caloric coefficient and heat production depends on the first substance and final substance, but it does not depend on reactions between them. In the body, glucose may be oxidized in aerobic or anaerobic processes. But anyway, if the body has full oxidation of glucose, heat production will be the same. But sometimes substances don't have full oxidation. And you cannot say exactly about energy production in accordance just with caloric coefficient. It's approximate, not exact value. To have more exact estimation of your metabolism, you must use indirect calorimetry or direct calorimetry to put human inside special chamber. But it's not comfortable method. Mostly medicine uses indirect calorimetry. How? Indirect calorimetry. Body at rest, human at rest. How does it work, this method?
Respiratory.
To calculate respiratory quotient. How to do it? You must measure oxygen consumed per hour, oxygen consumed and carbon dioxide released. Carbon dioxide released in ratio to oxygen consumed per unit time is called respiratory quotient. For example, recall reaction of glucose oxidation. 6 mole oxygen and 6 equal mole carbon dioxide. What is the respiratory quotient for glucose? 1. Simple. So you can calculate for protein and lipids, but you usually will have mixed diet. It's everything. And your respiratory quotient must be different. This science has special tables to estimate it. You can define caloric equivalent, how many liter oxygen required for oxidation, and define calories, energy expenditure. What you must know to recommend a correct nutrition, effective nutrition. Total daily energy expenditure. If you don't have boxes, devices for indirect calorimetry or direct calorimetry, you can use special tables or equation. Did you calculate your basal metabolic rate? Did you calculate it at home? It's the most of total daily energy expenditure. What factors defines your basal metabolic rate? Equation. Harrison Benedict.
The height, weight, age, Gender,
Gender.
but
Yes. Why? With age, basal metabolic rate decreases. It's higher in children and lower in old persons. Gender. Why gender influence? Because men have more muscles, just for more muscles. So when you increase your muscle mass, you increase your basal metabolic rate. Weight and height. The more your volume, more heat exchange, it requires more heat production and more metabolism. More cells, more metabolism. So more your surface, more metabolism. So higher metabolism will be in young big men and lower in old small women. At first, you calculate this. Then you must understand your activity. There are special tables to calculate your activity step by step. You can see in my presentation. But I don't require it for dental students. You can approximate value in accordance with your daily activity. If you just study, use just bus, your activity is lower, and your total daily expenditure will be about 2,000 calories in women and 2,100 in men. If you have more walking, your activity may be increased to 100%. But you must use it approximately in accordance with your activity. Then, not all food is assumed. Assumption of food availability of food approximately 90%. 95%. With food, calories, 95% assumption. Availability. Because you must remember it, and you saw in my example, I increased recommended calories a little more than total daily expenditure. 10% more. Well, and ratio between proteins, lipids, and glucose. Shortly, what substance is more essential for your body? Proteins, glucose structures of cells. And proteins can be converted to glucose, no problem, and with the chemical reactions to it. These proteins must have. What food contains more appropriate proteins and contains all essential amino acids? Meat. With, meat, cheese,
chicken.
I forget this term. Animal.
Limb.
Chicken, of course.
لحم الضاني هذا مش لم.
حمير.
English term.
براني.
Beef, of course. Essential. Metabolism. I don't have here. Yes, but the name.
يعني
complete proteins. I forgot the name of this food. Food from animals. Food from animals. This is I forgot the scientific term. Complete proteins. Complete proteins contain all essential amino acids in optimal ratio. Plant food doesn't contain all essential amino acids. And vegetables. So people, vegans can't consume enough essential amino acid, and they must have eat complicated diet every time. Well, nitrogen balance, you can read it, it's easy. Carbs, carbohydrates. What substance, what nutrients must prevail in grams per day? What you must eat more mass in grams? Proteins, carbohydrates, carbohydrates, because it's a source of energy, right? A source of energy. What is better? Sugar or starch?
Sugar.
Starch.
Carbs.
Carbs, polysaccharides. Starch, polysaccharide. Because polysaccharides are digested slowly and gives step by step. Sugar, sweet food stimulates taste receptors. End of tip of tongue, sweet receptors. It provokes immediately release glucose to blood. It provokes insulin release and maybe disorder of metabolism. It's bad for diabetes person with diabetes, patients with diabetes. With carbs, it's better to eat carbs, polysaccharides, starch or sugar. And lipids. Lipids have two functions: structure and energy. Both. You must take all types of lipids: phospholipids, triglycerides, oils, and cholesterol. Cholesterol is required to synthesize steroid hormones. Excess of cholesterol may be dangerous, but your liver can produce cholesterol also if you eat not enough cholesterol. With every lipid is good. What the lipids must prevail? Plant oil, vegetable oil from vegetable, with special omega-3, 6 oils. I'm bad. Well, I think that's enough for today. Please clean the board. Next class, give me your work.
Yes, of course. هات انا اقول لك اوريهم لا ولا انا
ماجيك وجيب معنا قماش حطها
Yes.
اعطيه ورا المشفى
ولا
لا عن جد وين
عمر
If somebody didn't prepare, give me your homework Wednesday after lecture.
فين نكتب نفس اللي عندك؟
مش عارف بس عارف
انت ما كتبته
كتبتهم حسبة نفس الحسبة اللي هي عاملاها دي هناك مش دول
ولا لا
بص بجد دول زي ما هم
طلعت من الفايل تبعي يعني.
دول يا اسطى ده الواحد أيوة. الواحد من ده تمام
Don't forget
اضربه في
me.
4 1 10 يسوى
I will give it to you next class. I did. أعطيها.
بدأ يهبط
31 بي.
بي
أنا معي السي في تبع الأشعة، خيفان ينتزع. لك ما رجع.
دي هبت فيها دي يا ولد، دي هبت فيها.
أنت من وين جبت الأجوبة؟
وربنا هبت